with the prayers then?
Yes, Mataji, begin with the prayers.
Namaha Om Vishnu Padaya
Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate
Srimate
Bhaktivedanta
Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti
Swamiti
Namine.
Namane Namaste
Namaste
Saraswate
Saraswate
Deve Gauravani Pracharine
Nirvishesha
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi
Shunyavadi
Paschatdvesha
Sharane.
Deshi
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Nityananda Shri
Priya
Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
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 Ram
Hare
Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare.
This Mata.
So, ठीक है जी. The Supreme Personality of Godhead in is thus enjoying in his transcendental eternal form. It is not astounding that one dares to call the Supreme Lord non-energetic. The Lord is the controller of all energies, and the living entities are parts and parcels of one of the energies. Therefore, there is a gulf of difference between the Lord and the living entities. How then can one say that the Lord and the living entity are one and the same? In Bhagavad Gita, also, the living entities are described as belongings to the superior energy of the Lord, according to the principles of intimate correlation between the energy and the energetic. Both of them are non-different also. Therefore, the Lord and the living entities are non-different as the energy and the energetic. Earth, water, fire, air. Oh, Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego are all inferior energies of the Lord. But the living entities are different from all as superior energies. This is the version of Bhagavad Gita 7.4.5. The transcendental form of the Lord is eternally existent and full of transcendental bliss. How can such a form be a product of material mode of goodness? Anyone, therefore, who does not believe in the form of the Lord is certainly a faithless demon, and as much as such is untouchable, a not to be seen persona, non grata fit to be punished by the Plutonic king. The Buddhists, as called atheists, are called atheists because they have no respect for the Vedas, but those who defy the Vedic conclusions as above mentioned under the pretense of being follower of the Vedas are verily more dangerous than the Buddhist. Sri Vyasadeva very kindly compiled the Vedic knowledge in his Vedanta Sutra, but if one hears the commentation of the Mayavadi school as represented by the Shankara Sampradaya, certainly he will be misled on the path of. Do you mind moving it further?
Yeah, you complete over here, then we'll just have a discussion on this. Yeah.
ठीक है जी.
Yeah. So, you,
Mayavadi school, certainly he will be misled on the path of spiritual realization. Thank you, Ji. Hare Krishna.
yes. Hare Krishna, Mataji. So, as we see that in the discussions happening now and forth, that Srila Prabhupada is expressing very exclusively about the personalistic school of thought. Okay, so here we can see that the Mayavadi philosophy or the Advaita philosophy is being condemned over here. That after certain process or something, after certain purification, living entity can become equivalent to the Supreme Personality. So this type of concept is being totally rejected. So starting from here also we can see that at the same time the Mayavadis have present this thought that the energy of the Lord or the energy is a higher principle, and the energy takes the form whenever it is required. So even this type of concepts are being condemned. So, well, at the beginning of Shrimad Bhagavatam itself, we can see in the introduction itself. So, care has been taken to present the exact Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, so that, and this philosophy is not some human-made philosophy. It is directly presented by Lord Chaitanya himself, by his own action, by his own living, and by his own teachings to the intimate devotees. And he himself is representing a pure devotee and also a pure preacher also. So we can see that these things are being uh, very radically removed at the root stage only. So it's very important for a person who is seeking for guidance from Srimad Bhagavatam that he makes his fundamentals very strong. And that's one of the reason why we are thinking that we should go from the introduction itself, because Srila Prabhupada definitely has a very broader vision when he's writing so much in the introduction. And through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, that is the highest authority, Lord himself, through the Lord himself, Srila Prabhupada is presenting that one should understand the fundamental principles of devotion in a right direction, so that then when you approach Srimad Bhagavatam, the real effect will happen in our lives. So it has been clearly mentioned about a living entity. A living entity is a superior energy. Even energies like earth, water, fire, ether, mind, and all are inferior energies. We can see that. So living entity, definitely being a spirit, is a superior energy, but definitely it cannot become equivalent to God by any yogic process or anything, any ritualistic process. Why a living entity cannot go to the stature of God. And that's why time and again these things are very much clarified, so by different examples. So here again a concept is being told that who do not believe in the form of the Lord is a person. So, and if somebody doesn't believe Lord is a person, so it is such a abominable act. Okay, it's such a abominable act that if there was a autocratic leader, he would have really punished that idea of a Lord being a Nirankar or having no form. It's a punishable offense, is being told over here. But still, Lord is so merciful. Even people see him as impersonal, but still he is merciful. He gives us a chance that if the person is still sincere, from impersonal, he can reach to the concept of personal also. So Lord being merciful gives every living entity chance over chance, so that he can understand him in a true manner. And that's why the start itself, the absolute nature of the Lord is being emphasized. Again, the concept that uh, a section of community like the Buddhists or even others who do not believe in the Vedic scriptures, they are condemned. So such people are not entertained, because those who do not believe in the Vedas, they will never follow Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam also, the teachings also, because condemning the scriptures indirectly means you're not following the authority of the Lord, because the scriptures and the Lord are non-different. The instructions of the Lord are recorded in the scriptures, and scriptures like Bhagavad Gita are directly the words of the Lord. So the Buddhists don't follow them. So therefore, they are disrespecting the Lord directly. So therefore, following Buddhist philosophy will lead us to nowhere, will not lead to the goal of our lives. What is the goal of our life? Being obtaining the association of the Lord, eternal association of the Lord. So if that is the goal of the life, Buddhism will not lead to that. And then we are saying that understanding all these situations, Vyasdev has given the essence in Vedanta Sutra, and there also he refutes the Mayavadi school of thought. So, any devotees would like to add something, they can feel free to add, or have any doubts they can ask. Hare Krishna. Yes, we can read further if there is no doubts.
Ji,
Anumat.
Prabhu.
Yeah. Yes.
Ji, ji. Thank you, Ji. So the next is the theory of emanations is the beginning subject of the Vedanta Sutra. All the cosmic manifestations are emanations from the absolute personality of Godhead by his inconceivable different energies. Uh, the example of the touchstone is applicable to the theory of emanation. The touchstone can convert an unlimited quantity of iron into gold, and still the touchstone remains as it is. Similarly, the Supreme Lord can produce all manifested worlds by his inconceivable energies, and yet he is full and unchanged. He is Puran, complete, and although an unlimited number of Purans emanate from him, he is still Puran. The theory of illusion of the Mayavad school is advocated on the ground that the theory of emanation will cause a transformation of the absolute truth. If that is the case, Vyasadeva is wrong. To avoid this, they have skillfully brought in the theory of illusion, but the word or the cosmic creation is not false, as maintained by the Mayavad school. It simply has no permanent existence. A non permanent thing cannot be called false altogether, but the concept that the material body is the self is certainly wrong. Pranav, Om, or the Omkara in the Vedas, is the primeval hymn. This transcendental sound is identical with the Lord, with the form of the Lord. All the Vedic hymns are based on this Pranav Omkar. Tat Tvam Asi is but a side word in the Vedic literature, and therefore this word cannot be the primeval hymn of the Vedas. Sripad Sankaracharya has given more stress on the word, on the side word Tat Tvam Asi, than on the primeval principle Omkar. The Lord. Should I continue, Prabhuji? Maybe we can read this paragraph.
Yeah,
The
this
Lord.
paragraph. Yeah, this paragraph.
Mhm. The Lord thus spoke on the Vedanta Sutra and defied all the propaganda of the Mayavad school. The Bhattacharya tried to defend himself and his Mayavad school by jugglery of logic and grammar, but the Lord defeated him by his forceful arguments. He affirmed that we are all related with the personality of Godhead eternally, and that devotional services are eternal function in exchanging the dealings of our relations. The result of such exchange is to attain prema, or love of Godhead. When love of Godhead is attained, love for all other beings automatically follows, because the Lord is the sum total of all living beings. Thank you,
Thank you
Prabhuji.
so much, Mataji. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
So here we can see that a further discussion is being spoken on about the concept that if there is a source of energy in normal physics stance, from a source of energy, if a part of that energy is being utilized, so the source actually diminishes in its own potency. This is how our physical understanding is. But the Lord himself is the absolute source of all energy, and his source is not a material source of energy. His source is totally spiritual. So so even though all the emanations come from the Lord, but the Lord himself, or the absolute personality himself, there is no diminishing of energy of whatsoever. So there is not even infinitesimal decrease in his energy when emanations come from him. We can see that we hear in Bhagavatam and many scriptures about the Brahma Jyoti. So this spiritual sky is illuminated by the light emanating from the body of the Lord. So it is a continuous process. It's not that it's for some time it emanates and sometimes it stops. So one type of emanation is the emanations of the Brahma Jyoti. But even though it is continuously emanating from the Lord, but Lord is never depleted of energy. So however, in material sense, we know that any source after some time will always lose its potency. It will decrease in its potency, and there is a chance that it will get depleted totally once. But it's not the case with the absolute personality of Godhead. And this aspect, which is emphasized in Mayavad, is actually condemned over here. It's totally rejected over here. In the Mayavadi school of thought, they say that the person of Godhead gets influenced by the energy of the Lord, or the person of Godhead is getting illusion. They always tell about even God gets illusion. So this concept is not entertained in the Bhakti school of thought. Whereas this part we can of course refer to Prabhuji and have more clarification about Pranav Omkar and Tattva Masi. We can have furthermore insight from Prabhuji. So please remind, or one of the devotees can remind in the next session about what is this paragraph is mainly insisting on. Okay, so there we can seek the help of we take the help of Madhusir Prabhu. And yes, so this is a discussion which is happening. So it's a beauty of all our Vedic scriptures that devotees get enlightened. Devotees and sadhakas like us who are presently there and who will be coming further in the future, we get enlightened by deep discussions between Lord and his devotees, and between the devotees. So one such type of discussion what is happening is between Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Lord Chaitanya. Okay. Although Bhattacharya, when he sees Lord Chaitanya by his bodily features, is sure that he definitely is not an ordinary person, but a supreme personality himself. But he wants to check by philosophical testing about whether the person front of him is Lord himself. And Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya being from the Advaita school of thought. Okay, please understand whenever the word Mayavad is being used. So at that time, 500 years back, the word Mayavad is not used. Okay, so Mayavad is a term coined in the Bhakti literature to exemplify or highlight the fact that anybody who's following Mayavad school of thought talks about the living entity at one point of time can become God. So all these concepts, directly, indirectly, where the concept proposed is the living entity becomes God, this all comes under Mayavad. Either it will be the living entity merges into the spirit of the God, or he becomes same as God, and all these concepts are what is Advaitwad, which is condemned, and the word of Mayavad is being used for that. Okay, so they themselves never will call Mayavad. So it is the Advait school of thought actually. So the Advait school of thought is condemned, and Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya also belongs to the Advait school of thought, whose greatest exponent is Sripad Shankaracharya himself. Okay, so Advait philosophy was propagated by him, who himself is considered to be the expansion of Lord Shiva himself. But then this is the mission Lord had sent him, and so he followed the mission. So, so Shankaracharya himself is a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. We see in his bhajans like Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam Mudamate. So where he recommends all his followers that to take the holy name of Lord Krishna and follow his instructions as the purpose of our life. So this is his own instructions. Though by action he misleads, or rather would say he would divert the people who had become Buddhists, people who had rejected the Vedas, to bring them to the path of following the Vedas. So there was a time when Buddha came and he made the entire mass of the society to reject the Vedas. So now the time had come, as per the will of the Lord, that now the humanity in general have to be brought uh, again back to the Vedas, and that's a very difficult task. Once you have left the Vedas and the authority of the Vedas, now bring them back to the authority of the Vedas. It's a very difficult task. So Lord Shiva himself extended himself as Shankaracharya and established this very tough task to bringing the cream of the society into the Vedas. And there were great scholars at that time who took up this. But then we could understand the transition from Buddhism to pure devotion was so difficult. So this was the standby stage which was proposed, which was a pseudo stage, we can say. Such a stage really does not, such a real philosophy does not exist. So so the Gaudiya Sampradaya tells that this is a pseudo philosophy which was proposed by Sripad Shankaracharya to just attract the mass and bring them back to believing in the Vedic scriptures. Because once the people start believing in the Vedic scriptures, then the teachings of the Vedic scriptures can be really retold in a correct way by the Dvaita scholars. So then the Dvaitas come. After the Dvaitas come, and then we have Achinta Beda philosophy, which has been presented by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. So here Bhattacharya is presenting different concepts from the Advaita school of thought. And Lord defeats all his arguments, all his logic uh, by uh, by the concepts of the Bhakti Marg. the result of such exchange. And through this exchange which is happening, this dialogue which is happening, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya in the heart himself is slowly surrendering to the Lord. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is a scholar. So a scholar, the heart of the scholar is melting as he is discussing with the Lord, and Lord is bestowing his mercy on Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So we can see that even personalities who are from Advaita philosophy also, but if they are pure souls and they are open-minded to understand the topmost philosophy, Lord bestows his causeless mercy. And one such instance we can see when he bestows on the four Kumaras, who are also impersonals at one point of time, or more likely they could can say they were Brahmavadis at one point of time, but they become pure devotees of the Lord, and they become the acharyas of the Kumara Sampradaya later. And similarly, we can see a Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who, according to Navdeep Dwam Mahatmya, so Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Jiv Goswami, who are the prominent acharyas in Gaudiya Sampradaya, that reveal that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is who is none other than, anybody can recollect who is Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya? Actually, his spiritual form, actual spiritual form in the spiritual world. So he is, if I'm not wrong, but we can verify with Prabhuji, he's considered to be Brihaspati, uh, who is the who is the you can say the priests of the demigods. Like he's the guru of the demigods, if I'm not wrong. But we'll check with Prabhuji. So in this way, that through the dialogue, through the discussions, the Lord is bestowing his mercy on Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and later we find that he becomes a pure devotee of the Lord and a great associate of Lord, and also he facilitates a meeting of many devotees with the Lord, like a meeting of Ramananda Rai with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, meeting of the king of Odisha, that is Prataprudra Maharaj. So he facilitates the meeting of Prataprudra Maharaj and with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's the nature of a very good devotee or a pure devotee, that he not only is serious in his own practices, but he is so compassionate. The extent the person, the pure devotees extend the compassion of the Lord uh, in the same way as the Lord, and facilitate or even accelerate the process of connectivity between other devotees to the Lord. So many loving exchanges will be coming further. So I suppose, yeah, if you have some doubts or discussion, we can have it later, or we can pause for today.
Very beautiful explanation, Prabhuji. Thank you, Ji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we try to meet on Friday with Prabhuji, and any more doubts on what we discussed today, we can ask you can ask Prabhuji for more clarification. Okay. So remember that primeval Omkara and Tattvam Asi. So that explanation we can ask to Prabhuji, so we can get more insight on that. So this part we can see that through the pastime, again, a lot of deep philosophy is also being discussed. So one should not perceive Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita as just some stories which are happening and have some just superficial lessons to be learned. No, the lessons are very deep. The philosophy is very deep. At the same time, it is very crystal clear philosophy. We need to hear it with an earnest heart, with a pure heart, and Lord will really reveal. And just we can see over here, like through the discussion, Lord is bestowing his pure love on Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. We'll see that. So just by reading Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and Chaitanya Charitamrita in a honest, sincere way, that as recommended by Srila Prabhupada and the Acharyas, we can make our life sublime, because we are hearing the same way as they are discussing. So discussion between devotee and the Lord, discussion between pure devotees, those discussions really purify us, enlighten us, and really help us to go further in our devotional life. So this is the actual way which has transformed all the sincere practitioners through ages. So we just have to follow them. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam ji.
Dandvat Pranam. Thank you all
Good afternoon.
devotees. Srila
Thank
Prabhupada
you.
ki jai.
Hare Krishna.